It's been a couple of weeks since we left Malmö, and in our last episode we had friends and family visiting us in Simrishamn. Then we left our home province Skåne and sailed to Hanö in Blekinge. The little ferry goes between the mainland and Hanö every hour during the summer. And this captain sure knows how to dock his boat. Now we're ready to go out for a walk and explore the island. Everything is packed. All the stuff.
Yes.
Fika, camera gear, and Vera gear. Yes. The harbour master was such a nice and happy lady, and look at this pretty laundry room. Hanö is a car-free island, and instead there are wheelbarrows to transport your stuff from the ferry to your house. Here is the Hanö tourist office, but it's like a play with words, because in Swedish you say turistbyrå, which is direct translation tourist, also drawer. Like byrå is both like an office agency and a drawer. So turistbyrå, tourist drawer. And here you have a little map of the island. And here's another thing we can look at. Hanö top 10. Nektargalen. Är det den vi har överallt? Listen to the nightingale.
There's a lot of deer on this island, and I guess that's why they have these fences. I saw it on the other side of the village as well. And it's also a natural reserve, bigger part of the island.
Tar vi den där, går vi dit.
So we're walking in this very special forest with trees. The trees are called hornbeam, or avenbok in Swedish. And it's a very special feel to this whole area. The nature is kind of special. It's all these stones with moss on. I think it's like a remembrance from the Ice Age, where the ice has spread out all of these stones and rocks here. And there's some thunder going on now, as you can hear.
It's like it has leaves not on the branches but following the tree.
Yeah.
And it's the same leaves as the tree, hornbeam.
Yeah, it's true. The leaves are sticking straight out from the trunks.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Yeah,
It's so much greener.
You can see over here. So we haven't seen any deers yet. The deers here on the island are called dovhjort. So I think in English that would be fallow deer, I think they're called. And There's supposed to be quite many of them, and we've seen their droppings all over the place, but I think they're a bit shy, maybe. Oh, there's one. There's a deer inside. You see it?
Yeah. Eating. Oh, running away. That was well spotted.
It has started to rain now, so we're just hiding under a tree here to hopefully it will go away in a while.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's
My
not.
ears are cold. Oj, här.
Yeah.
Very special. We left the forest and came out to this open field of flat stones. It's like the ice turned to stone.
The higher up the island we get, the bigger the rocks or the stones get. Further down to the beach, the stones were like, fist size, a bit bigger. And then as we moved up the island, and now we have this really big stones. So it must have something with how the ice moved over this island or formed this island during the Ice Age.
Now we will go uphill to the lighthouse and follow the red dots.
We're at the top of the island, next to the lighthouse, and it's time for a fika.
The island is 6 kilometers around the coast. The lighthouse sits on the highest point. I think we will take the cemetery and the caves tomorrow. I think now we'll head down to the harbor again. It was a good walk. We walked almost around the whole island. At least 2/3. Next day we woke up to sunshine. And it's hard to believe it on a day like this, but Hanö is the windiest place in Sweden outside of the mountains.
Vad heter det?
Underbart Tärnö. Det är en av de större öarna. I've strained my neck, so that's why I look very strange and I have the TENS machine on now and trying to make it better. But today we think we're gonna leave, right?
Yeah, because
We've
tomorrow
been here 2 nights now. Yeah, tomorrow.
the wind is picking up tomorrow, and it's going to rain. Yeah.
So now we are trying to figure out where we can go to a nice place, but it's also protected from the weather that's coming in now. And we probably have to stay there, I don't know, will it be 2-3 nights?
Yeah, 2-3 nights.
The weather is nice again, so before we leave, we're gonna go for another walk. So we'll check out the English grave and maybe the caves.
They're quite deep, these cattle grids. They have them in 3 places, I think, around the village to prevent the deers from walk past them and coming into the village.
This time we followed a trail north along the west coast.
This is the English cemetery, and it has its origins from the Napoleonic Wars, when the British Navy had Hanö as its base for its navy, for its operations here in the Baltics at the time. And I guess some of the sailors, they died during this time, and they are resting here. And still today, when the British Navy have operations in the Baltics, it happens that they come to this island and have a small ceremony here at the cemetery.
Down here is the so-called cave. I think it looks more like a little hole. Not so much of a cave if you ask me. But yeah, you can go down and you can just go out on the other side. It's just like these giant rocks that have fallen and made this little hole. Back on the boat, we cast off the lines and started heading towards the island Tärnö. The wind came as soon as we rounded the island. Going really fast. We're sailing fast now. 7.8 knots of speed. So now we have less than 5 nautical miles until we reach the south point of the island.
So we have around 2 nautical miles left. We still have more or less a beam reach, 13 knots of wind through, doing a bit over 7 knots. And right now we're passing by one of the oldest wooden lighthouses in Scandinavia, here on Tärnö. And we're also entering the Blekinge archipelago.
She just wants to stand here all the time. and her grip is so firm that it's really hard to remove her hands. There! Oish! We changed course because now we're heading more to the north, and then we're gonna round the northeastern tip here and go in to the big bay. We took down the sails to get through the narrow passage between the islands and into the bay where we were going to anchor.
Pretty convenient with the remote for the windlass, so you can do everything by yourself back here.
First time at anchor with round 2, and the first time the Rockna anchor hit the water. Jag jagar här helt dubbelvikt.
Ska vi ta en runda med dingen då?
Mm. Det gör vi. It felt so nice to have arrived in the archipelago and to stay at anchor with our boat and home. Tärnö is such an idyllic place, full of red little cottages. Most of them are summer houses, but there are a few people who lives here year-round. This is what the cruising life is all about. Staying in a nice anchorage, exploring the surroundings, and to meet new people. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want bonus material and watch exclusive live chats, check out our Patreon page.